Back on TYT Sports, Francis Jason here. So if you haven't heard about Johnny Manziel at this point, you should have. It's all over the blogs. It's all over ESPN, Fox Sports, Yahoo. Every which way you look, Johnny Manziel is being covered. So the gist of what happened, Johnny Manziel, between Week 16 and Week 17, went to Las Vegas, threw on a disguise, one that obviously wasn't that good because he was pictured and found out by a few Las Vegas reporters, which eventually leaked its way back to Cleveland Browns camp and, of course, out into the mediaverse. And, of course, the social media, Twitter, everything else. And to add insult to injury, Johnny Manziel tried to get away with this by posting on Instagram and geotagging it. I think we have that Instagram posting. Johnny Manziel taking a picture with his dog and saying, you know, Saturday nights, 23rd with this guy.
Nice cover.
Solid. I give him. I mean, it's a nice cover, but it's going to get to
a clear alibi.
I wonder if criminals will start using, not that Johnny Manziel's a criminal, but if they start using Instagram to try to geotag. I wasn't there at the scene of the murder. I was chilling with my dog.
Right? Look at this post.
In Los Angeles. So now, in addition to all of this, Brandon Marshall, wide receiver for the Jets, LeBron James, he plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I remember.
Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him.
Amongst Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, all the media coming out mostly against Johnny Manziel, that he's a problem, that he may have some problems of his own that he needs to figure out, maybe addiction related to either gambling, partying, alcoholism, whatever it might be. And it begs the question that we wanted to sit and talk about: why do so many people care about Johnny Manziel's everything?
Well, why? That is the question. Why do we care? Why are we obsessed with controversial figures? When you're obsessed with controversial figures, right? There's two sides of it. You can be obsessed with one who does the damage on the field, on the court, wherever, and you're obviously engrossed in how they're performing as an athlete as well as what they're doing outside of it. John Jones, for instance, Floyd Mayweather, these guys. Now, I get it. Johnny Manziel, you don't get the nickname Johnny Football for no reason. Like, he was a hot prospect coming out of college, won the Heineken Trophy, or the Heimlich Trophy, as I like to call it. Great. I mean, coming out of that, you're obviously going to get a lot of media coverage on you. And he was so unique in the way he was performing. I mean, his size, his stature, he could do things on the field that were captivating for a neutral audience. I was always watching how he was performing. I was intrigued by him. Then when he comes into the NFL, comes in with obviously the big name, those big shoes to fill. I know he's got big, giant feet anyway, but still, you're going to focus on him. There was a controversy early on when he came in, and then he started to adjust, and then he had some promising games, not so promising games. And then now it just seems to me the media's way of just trying to keep him relevant and trying to keep the conversation about Johnny Manziel, about Johnny Football relevant. And it does pose the question as, why are we obsessed with these players that are controversial, but more so, why are we obsessed with Johnny Football when we haven't seen the immediate return that everyone was expecting to see coming into the NFL?
Well, before I get into my take on this, I want to run through the internet's, and great reaction, by the way. I agree with you. But in addition to that, the internet never is too kind, as we will, if you will. And they photoshopped a few of what they think his ID looked like as Billy Janzel. Started to trend and circulate. We have 4 of the best photoshops, thanks to Sports Illustrated for aggregating these for us. We start with the first, and we're just going to run through them. So reservation for Billy Janzel. I like the next one. I believe it's the Hawaii driver's license. Oh, this one's good too. That one's less believable. The first one, at least, you know, kind of looked like a disguise. There it is. Because if you remember, you know, why Hawaii? Well, because everyone's from
Hawaii. Why Muhammad? Muhammad's the most common name on earth. Read a fucking book.
Read a book. That or Muhammad. And, of course, the other decent tweet that was sent out was, I hope your day is going better than mine, as a panhandler on the street, because that's what they think his next disguise will be. So you're right in a lot of ways. We are very obsessed with controversial figures. But the thing that annoys me about Johnny Manziel is the guy is not a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He hasn't helped the Browns really in any which way possible. And he's not a franchise guy. And even worse than that is the rumors that he, you know, what if he goes to Dallas? Well, look at any backup quarterback in the NFL. You have to be ready to go. You have to be at practices. You have to know the playbook. And it doesn't seem at any point that Johnny Manziel cares about that. Now, I don't give a shit that he goes out to Vegas and parties.
Yeah, no, right.
What I do give a little bit of a poop, a smaller fraction of that shit.
Like a nugget.
Of that greater shit.
Okay.
A nugget,
Yeah,
if you
okay,
will.
a nugget, if you will.
A little too graphic.
Thanks for the graphic.
Is that it's a problem when you start lying.
Yes.
Right? So he goes to Instagram to post that he was somewhere else to cover up for him being in Vegas. Now, Vegas gets the worst connotation because it's a party city. It wouldn't be any different if he was in wherever,
No,
New York City at a club.
Yeah, I think Vegas just adds to the context of the story. But we see in other instances, you see basketball players dropping 40 Gs or whatever in strip clubs. But that same basketball player, John Wall, I believe, performing phenomenally well on the court. Yes, it's going to get media attraction. Yes, he probably shouldn't be doing that, especially when, I mean, you have your own views on it, whether or not they spend their money whatever way. It still doesn't bring a positive light to the team, but if he's going to go out there and perform, it's still worth talking about, still worth covering. What my problem is with Johnny Manziel is you're right, he's disguising it. He's going about his actions. He's not looking like a player who's trying to help his team. No. It doesn't look like he's out there for a team player. It looks like he's Alex Moran to me. He's a backup quarterback, and he's taking all the plaudits into account.
And that's a good point.
But he's not as funny.
Because Alex Moran is a character.
Yes.
He's not an actual existent person.
Remember that,
or shouldn't be. Great show. And he shouldn't be a real character in the NFL because that's not, you know, just because you have the ability to play a professional sport doesn't make you yourself a professional.
Right.
I believe that was Peter King who said that, and he was spot on with it. I don't want to take his
words.
It'll be a nice quote to go on the ribcage if you'd like. But at the same time, there's a little bit of hypocrisy because if a player is performing at an elite level on the field, if the Browns were 13-3 going into the playoffs with a first-round bye and Johnny Manziel threw for 25 touchdowns, 4,000 passing yards, and 3 interceptions, we'd all give him a pass. Or some of the media. I shouldn't say all. That's not fair. Some of the media would give him a pass. Well, if he's performing on the field, does it really matter that he's going partying? But now that he's not, and he doesn't want anything to do with Cleveland, it seems like he wants out. He wants out of his contract. He wants to go play for the Cowboys. It seems like about 25 teams want nothing to do with him, and there's always going to be a place for him somewhere in the NFL, at least if it can help sell tickets.
Yeah, the Mario Balotelli of the
It's
the
true.
NFL.
He's actually not too much different, but Balotelli assisted Aguero on one of the greatest Premier League scoring goals of all time. Johnny Manziel
He won the Heineken
threw a
Award,
couple touchdown passes for the Cleveland Browns, and maybe for a split fraction of a second in our NFL history timeline, he looked like a somewhat decent quarterback, but he's not. There's too many problems that go with him. So before we beat this story to death, I think that's all the elements we have for you. We want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, why do you think this football player continues to be relevant? Why is he continuing to surface? Why is he always trending for that point? When it seems that all this controversy, it doesn't add up when considering how he is performing on the field. And that's what I want to have general fans tell me about. New to the game, still figuring out a lot about it. But I would understand if it was someone who is performing significantly well within this. It seems like it's keeping him relevant. If anything, it might keep him encouraged to continue to do it. Because it's still continuing to get media coverage.
Spotlight. By the way, the thing that LeBron said, just to add this in the end, is LeBron sponsors Johnny Manziel for his marketing firm. So LeBron isn't too happy with him either. Even more important question for the comment section: who will be irrelevant first, DJ Khaled or Johnny Manziel?
Never. Key to success.
Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, favorite, and subscribe to this video. Every like, every favorite, every subscription goes a long way. If you didn't know that, stay tuned. Because we are going to be doing an awesome Super Bowl party here. We want to make sure you guys watch the Super Bowl. Last year, we got ridiculous. It got exciting. Jenk goes on lots of fun rants. We get drunk. And we're also going to be doing a lot of giveaways for TYT Sports gear, TYT gear, everything. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We'll get you more information later on, sometime this week, next week, before the Super Bowl actually begins. See you next time.